So welcome back. This week we're going to be focusing on our coping skills in our Toolbox stress management units. I'm going to be probably focusing on 4 weeks about coping skills. So the first 2 weeks will be on unhealthy coping skills, and the next 2 weeks will be on healthy coping skills. So it's kind of doing a little bit backwards. So what are coping skills? So I'm sure some of you who I've worked with have heard me talk about coping skills. So they also can be called coping strategies or coping mechanisms. So it's all the same thing when you hear those three phrases. So these are tools and techniques you can use to help you handle difficult emotions, decrease stress, and establish and maintain a sense of internal order. They can be helpful to use when you're feeling angry, anxious, sad, stressed, overwhelmed, or even when you're feeling well to help you stay level. Coping skills can be applied every day, some with conscious thought, some without. Coping skills can be simple tactics you can use in the moment if you feel you need to get control over your emotions as well. They could also be more habitual practice, meaning that you build into your daily life to help keep you sane during life stressors. So that could be like your routine, such as like scheduling a bedtime, scheduling time to get up in the morning, even eating, or scheduling time to exercise. So it's like those are like the type of coping skills. People do best with a wide variety of coping skills, and that is because skills that work great for one thing, let's say anger, may not necessarily help with something else. So, like stress, for example. So, we cope with stressors every day, often without even realizing it. When we cope with stressful events, even if it's like a simple daily task, it is vitally important that we use healthy, effective coping skills. And this is a quote from like a blog that I really liked how she said it. So I like to think of coping skills as a tool belt of sorts. So when you're building something, you likely need more than one tool. You'll probably need a hammer, a screwdriver, maybe even a wrench or a measuring tape. So coping skills work the same way. So as you build your tool belt and expand your methods of coping, you'll start to learn which techniques work best for you in which situations. So that's kind of piggybacking off the one that we just talked about on the other slide about how some coping skills work better dealing with certain stressors than others. So I'm going to go into like psychological stressors. So when I say stressors, what does that mean? So a psychological stressor can be considered anything that causes an individual stress. The stress can come from a form of many feelings, including anxiety, apprehension, fear, sadness, distress, frustration, anger, hurt, or anything that triggers a trauma response. These can be episodic, meaning that like taking a new route to work, or long term, like going through a divorce. Additionally, the stressor can have varying levels of intensity or even a threat to self. It is important to remember that not everyone experiences stressor the same way, and that stressor can be unique to a person. So something that one person finds stressful may actually be benign or even enjoyable event to someone else. So like, for example, like let's say like someone who loves watching scary movies or even going on like those roller coasters. So that might be like stressful for someone who's scared of heights or just doesn't like to get scared. So that's like an example of stressful event that might work. So now we've gone over kind of an introduction about coping skills. So how do I know which coping skills work well for me? Will work for me. So again, it is important to understand. Here, I'll stop right here for now, and then I'll explain more on the next portion.